What's going on, everybody? What's happening? My levels are, yeah, there we go. That's better. What's happening, everybody? It is, what is it? It's Monday, November the 6th, 2023, 6:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is episode 234 of McRae Live. And I thought I would just, take it light today. Ordinarily on McRae Lives, I like to have a topic before we go to a Q&A. But I thought, you know what? Let's just do a Q&A. It's been a crazy last little bit. And I need a bit of a break, so I thought, why not come on and have a Q&A, hang out, answer some questions, and just hang out and see how everybody's doing and see who shows up. If anybody shows up, I need a shave. Let me see. Let's get this first super chat that came in from Josh McKenna. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Sends in $19.99. Thank you. Very generous. Says, congrats on casting Lisa. She looks exactly like Olivia. Also, the amount of trolls on your Facebook page is crazy. Like a guy wanting 15,000 Bitcoin and trolls making conspiracy theories on Olivia's recasting. Get a life, trolls. Yeah. Well, first of all, you mentioned a lot in there, so let me just address it. Yeah, for those of you that obviously don't know, we made the announcement today on Olivia's successor, her replacement. For those of you that may not know, and you haven't really been checking in on me the last couple of days, and you don't follow me on social media, we did have to, unfortunately, deliver some unfortunate news on Saturday that Olivia Hussey has had to step back from the project. And we got word of that on Friday. And it's unfortunate because we're 2 weeks away from going to camera. And anyway, so the whole live stream on my channel where you can check that out and check all the details. But it's unfortunate. But it's for health reasons, and health comes first. Her health and safety come first. And but it is disappointing, obviously. But Bruce and I break it all down on that stream. So naturally, we had to recast the role of Jess. And today we made the announcement that Canadian actress Lisa Kovak has been cast as Jess Bradford. And Lisa is tremendous. She's a terrific actress, years of experience, and is ready to step into this role. It's not easy, under these circumstances, the way in which, the job comes about is not easy, but she's ready for the task. Like I said, she's not new to the business, and she has that type of look. And that's what's so important, right? Is that when you are looking for, when you are looking to cast a type, you look for, I mean, it's not like Lisa looks identical to Olivia, but when you look at Lisa and you look at Olivia, you go, oh yes, I see, high cheekbone, same kind of facial structure. Yes, this has got she's got that type of look, like a lot of women do. And a lot of men have oh yeah, he's kind of got that Brad Pitt look, oh yeah, he's got that Harrison Ford vibe going. Yeah, you can kind of see it. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing, right? And that's important to when you are, looking for the believability. Obviously, that's one of the most important things. Obviously, somebody who's a professional and trained and does this for a living is also important, and who is great. And she's fantastic. So Lisa Kovak, shout out to Lisa. Thanks for coming on. Welcome aboard. We really appreciate it. And I think you guys are going to really like her. And because, we didn't want to, we've worked far too hard for far too long to pack it all in. And I know it's not ultimately what you wanted. It's not what we wanted either. And which is also a good segue into the other part of your question, which, the trolls. Well, this is just a loud minority from people who don't know anything about anything. They are, it's funny. no, I was going to preface this by saying I say this with all due respect, but fuck it. If you can't respect me on my channel or on my social media, then I'm not, respect is earned, baby. But let's just put it this way. It is not surprising that if a troll has a photo, have you ever noticed this, that the people that cause problems online always look like, dick bag, like, they look like douchebags. Have you ever noticed that? That it's not surprising that the people going, no, 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 look like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, you look like somebody that would be doing this. You know what I mean? It's like, shut up and sit down. Like, we don't have time for that. Okay. There's no conspiracy going on. We didn't lie about anything. This shit happens. And it's unfortunate that it happened. We're just very thankful that we were able to turn things around very quickly, because as you can imagine, the first thought in our minds was, when we found out about this, the very first thought in our minds was the project, right? We felt that the project may be in jeopardy, because we know that up to this moment, it was built on the foundation of Olivia. And our first thought was, oh my God, the entire project could be in jeopardy now. And as producers, we need to take action, and we need to take action fast. And that's how Bruce and I roll. We don't do it aimlessly. We do it, each decision is calculated and professional and responsible, but we need to take initiative, take action, and make those executive decisions, because we are, after all, the producers of the project, and we need to make sure that things can get done. I mean, we were scared. We were like, oh my God, what is this going to mean for the project, right? So thankfully we took action, and we reached out to Lisa and we asked her for her time, and thankfully she was available, and she felt awful, of course, like, oh, that's too bad, that's awful, blah blah blah. Obviously, Lisa works in the Canadian film industry, obviously, as an actress, and she already knows Greg, our DP, which is great. She's worked with Nikita before, who's our gaffer. So I mean, she knows a few people on the crew already, which is kind of nice. And as you can see, yeah, she's kind of has that kind of look, which is great. Now, she could also have that look and not be talented, and if that was the case, we wouldn't have hired her. I mean, we can't hire on looks alone, right? You have to have the total package, and thankfully Lisa has the total package. So, but she understood, and we had a conversation with her, a Zoom call with her immediately. And no, I mean, not immediately as in like, we get off the phone with Olivia's manager, and we're, it wasn't like immediate, but it was within 24 hours. And we spoke for about an hour and brought her up to speed. And we got in touch with her agent. We sent the contract to her agent. Her agent sent the contract to her. Olivia looked it over, signed the contract, sent it back to the agent. We got the contract back. So it was a whole, and then of course we have to send the contract off to the union as well. And so all this was going on in a very, very fast cycle. Now, of course, we also had to contact our immigration lawyer and let them know that we no longer need their services. And unfortunately, that's money we can't get back, because you have to pay the lawyers up front, and they're packaging all this, and there's no guarantee. So unfortunately, we have lost some money because of that, but it's just the reality of the circumstance. And then we had to contact SAG, our rep at SAG, and explain the situation to them. Unfortunately, Olivia has, she's sick and we can't do that, blah, 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 blah. We can't do this. So unfortunately, we're not going to be needing, we need the security deposit, because we had put forth a security deposit, which sometimes happens when you're using a SAG member, especially when you're a production that is from another country. Often the unions will require a security deposit, just, like it might be half of what you owe them, right? So let's say, you're going to pay somebody $100. I'm saying that because obviously it's, what we were going to pay her is obviously private. But let's say you're going to pay somebody $100. Well, the union would ask for $50. Now, obviously it's not, but you know what I'm saying, right? So, we reached out to them and tried, now we're like, it's not happening. We need to get the security deposit. So there's a lot of wheels that are turning here. When that happens, as producers, we're like, okay, what do we need to do? and we need to, because we're 2 weeks from going to camera. If we were 2 months from going to camera, well, that's different. We can take our time a little bit. But when you're 2 weeks and everything's locked in, hotels, rentals, lighting, grip, camera, crew, catering, production insurance, health and safety, location, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars are locked in. We need to make these decisions quick. And so but thankfully we were able to do it. But yeah, these trolls, they just don't know what they talk. Because they don't understand how movies are made, and they don't understand how the film industry works, and they've never made a movie in their life, they think everything's a conspiracy. And I have to preface by saying this because, trolls, there's no nuance anymore. One of the things I've learned about this, because it's funny to read people say, I don't know, and they'll write all these wild theories about what happened. I now understand at least a little bit, a tiny bit, because certainly I'm not a Hollywood director, but now I understand what some of these filmmakers and actors must go through when they read fan theories and, conspiracy theories from, the comfort of their own home. They're going, the fuck are they talking about? What the fuck are these fans talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so funny. Like I'm looking at what some of these people are saying and I'm like, that's not true at all. Now, having said that, I do understand if somebody was upset. It seems a little weird. 2 weeks before going to camera, that's a little fishy. Something's not adding up here. I don't know. There's something a little weird. Dave, help me understand this. Help me explain this, right? That's a fair thing, especially if you've donated. And that's fair, totally fair. I'd feel the same way. Oh, what's going on? But when you just get on my Facebook and yell and scream like you have the IQ of a turnip, I don't have, especially when you're somebody who hasn't donated, shut up and sit down and get out. Or shut up and sit down and get out? No, shut up and sit down or get out. We don't have time for that. We are professionals, and we understand if you have questions or concerns. That's totally fair. But these trolls that are yelling and screaming and calling us every name in the book and, we're liars and full of crap, we don't have time for that, man. We don't have time. I've been through too much for far too long to put up with your dog shit. Okay? You're ignorant, and sometimes willfully ignorant to how the process works. There's no conspiracy theory. I have countless emails, with exchanges with Olivia's manager and her husband and phone calls. And we have the LOI. We have the LOI that Olivia signed at the end of April. And if you don't know what an LOI is a letter of intent. And what a letter of intent is it basically means that an actor will sign an LOI and they will say that I am interested in this project. I will sign this. I, Olivia Hussey, and then, what it says, I'm interested in this, blah, blah, blah. And I sign it, Bruce signs it, Olivia signs it. And it basically means that, you know what, I'm interested in your project. By signing this LOI, consider me attached. That's what it means, right? And independent producers especially will often get name actors, hopefully, to sign an LOI so they can use that actor's name and likeness and image and all that to go and raise funds, to say, hey, I've got so-and-so on the project. If we can raise the money and meet all the stipulations that are required by her team, she's going to be in it, right? Like, she's agreed to be in it. And that's what it was. So we do have Olivia's LOI. I've signed it, Bruce has signed it, and she's signed it. And that's what that means, right? And so, yeah. And we met all the requirements. Everything that was asked of us for Olivia, we met. And as a matter of fact, her manager even said, we've gone above and beyond what most people do for her, because they get a lot of inquiries, right? A lot of, guys like us calling to inquire if they could have her in whatever, their movie, their short film, their TV show, whatever. And her manager said, we're very protective of her, obviously because of her age and all health and all that. And he says, you guys have been amazing. Like what you were willing to do, put it in writing, sign it's exactly what we needed. And this isn't like diva Hollywood star stuff. This is not a secret, because it's in her book and she's written about, or she's mentioned this in interviews. So this is not private, but Olivia suffers from agoraphobia. Okay. And that just simply means that, you know, it's not just where you get anxiety from open spaces. It's also about feeling, you know, getting anxiety from being in spaces or situations where you feel like there's no escape, or, you know, that kind of thing, right? And now she's had it her whole life. She's obviously been able to deal with it. She's been able to manage it because she's had a successful career. But that was extremely important, that we need to make sure that she's comfortable, she's well taken care of, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's what I mean. I don't mean that she needs to have all green M&Ms, you know, in her hotel room. I don't mean that dog shit. I just mean that there's certain things, health things, that are very, very important. And so, especially when she's going to get on a plane and she's going to fly and all that kind of stuff, right? And she will do it, of course, because she does do it. And we met all those requirements, every single one. And so, yeah, so it's this nonsense that's, you know, it's a very loud, small minority that don't know their asses from their elbows with how any of this works, and would really like it if we were duping people. Like they're like, yeah, Davies, there's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. So, if you're the kind of person that's going to come on my channel or on my social media and yell and scream, I had to block some douchebag today on X. But, you know, if you're going to come on there, and I don't care if you ask questions, you know, again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? Hey, Dave, help me understand this, right? Like there was a gentleman today on YouTube that asked, so wait a minute, you said to everybody that she was going to be in the movie without her even having signed a contract? What? And I said, well, she signed an LOI, which is a letter of intent, okay, which says, I will be in your movie if you meet this, this, and this. Well, we met this, this, and this, right? So that means that she will, okay, great. The reason why we didn't have Olivia under contract yet is because of the SAG strike. And this is where the ignorance comes in from those who don't know their asses from their elbows, except for this guy. This guy wasn't ignorant. He was just asking a question. But generally you get people going, and they don't stop to think that, you know, so there's a SAG strike going on. If there was no strike, we would have had Olivia's contract signed in the summer. But the problem is that there's a SAG strike. So, you know, we had to apply for an interim agreement. We are legally not allowed to engage with the performer or have her sign a contract until we are approved by SAG. And that took nearly 3 months up until just last week. And just last week, our SAG rep sent over the interim. Well, we showed it to you on the stream the other day. We just got that last week. So, you know, of course, we would have had her sign the contract if we could have earlier, but we were not allowed because of the strike, right? They had to vet us. They had to go through and make sure that we were not part of the AMPTP. What is our project all about? Who are these guys? Are they up in Canada? You know, are they? They have to do that with every single indie production, right? Because it's the AMPTP, it's the Warner Brothers, the Universals, the Netflixes, the Disneys that SAG is on strike against. And then you have all these little guys, right? These independent guys like Dark Chapter Pictures who are not part of the AMPTP. But they have to still vet us. They have to make sure, right? We had to send SAG our script and the budget breakdown. Where's the money coming from? Where's the chain? Got to make sure that there's not, you know, this isn't fishy and all that kind of stuff, right? It was months of paperwork and back and forth and all that kind of stuff. So, so I explained this to him so that's why she was not under contract like 3 months ago, or, you know, because of all this, but she did sign an LOI, which says, you meet this, I will be in it. And we met it, and she was excited and ready to go. But unfortunately, because the SAG strike carried on and on and on and on and on, and we submitted our signatory application months ago, and we're waiting and wait because we're in a queue of thousands of other productions, thousands, literally. And so, unfortunately, it was just a case of shit luck that when we got it, she got ill, right? And she's dealing with some things right now. It's just shit luck. There's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. All right. Anyway, it's a good question, Josh, and you had a couple of points there, and I just wanted to make sure I get that in there. All right. Oh, geez, a couple of super chats did come in here. 1 second. Let me get these because I never want to miss them. Super chat from Nighttime sends in $5, says, I got abducted by aliens last night and they opened my back. Also, did you see House of Sand and Fog from 2003 with Jennifer Connelly and Ben Kingsley? Sorry about your back. And no, I don't think I have, but I know the movie you're talking about, man. Michael Thorne sends in $4.99, says, Olivia Hussey has a very subtle accent. Is that something you're looking to bring back with Lisa? I wouldn't say it's subtle. I would say it's quite prominent. I mean, it's not thick. It's not a thick English accent, like she's not Cockney or something. It's not like that, whatever that was, but you know what I mean. Like Prince Charles or something, where very, it's not like that. If Darren's watching, he's probably rolling his eyes right now. But I can't do these accents clearly, but she was born in Argentina. I think it was Argentina. And she moved to England when she was about 7. And she lived her whole life there, or most of her life there. So she does have an English accent. I don't quite know specifically what region it would be. It's not thick, like you don't understand what she's saying, but it's certainly, I mean, just watch Black Christmas or YouTube a recent interview with her. I mean, she certainly has an accent and she sounds very classy lady, right? And so obviously that was part of the casting process, was to, we would not have offered the role to Lisa if she could not do a stellar English accent. So let's just say that we're good there. And she's had to perform it quite a bit in quite a few productions she's been in. And she's got a lot of theater and stage experience as well, not just film and TV. So yeah, it is important. Brandon Collins becomes a channel member #1. Thank you, Brandon. Really appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, folks, if you want to become a member here on the channel, I think we're at like 92 or 93. The link's in the description. Come on over. We got exclusive shows, badges, emojis. Your name gets highlighted in the chat. You can send in member-only questions. It's not a super chat because you're already a member, but your question will be highlighted in green, which is really cool. So lots of good stuff over there if you want to get in on that. And then Sean Sheridan sends in €5. Thank you, Sean, and says, what sort of experience does Lisa have in films, TV, that sort of thing? Mostly Canadian stuff, I assume. Ignore the trolls. A good question. Well, she has an IMDb page, so you can definitely go to that. But keep in mind, of course, that not everything is always listed on IMDb. I mean, there's been lots of people that have been trying to call me out because, I have about 5 or 6 animation voiceover credits on IMDb, and somehow that means that I'm, an amateur or something like that, which they don't understand that for most of my life I was in commercial, trailer, and promo, and have done and they don't wind up on IMDb. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's just always something that roll my eyes with. But Lisa has, she's got short films, feature films, television, a lot of stage and theater. I mean, I believe Lisa's in her late 60s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe early 70s. I know she was a teenager when the Romeo and Juliet movie with Olivia Hussey and Leonard Whiting came out, and that would have been 1968. So she's certainly, the right age, and she's been doing this for decades. I mean, she's very experienced. So I think you guys will, again, it's unfortunate what's happened, but what is the role here? What's the role of, because we're wearing a few different hats here, right? What's the role of Bruce and I as producers? What's the role of Bruce and I as casting directors? What's the role of Bruce and I as directors, right? And that is, okay, we've been put in a situation now where we have to pivot. And, it's no longer going to be Olivia Hussey. So we can no longer rely on just Olivia Hussey to sell it. Right? Well, it's Olivia Hussey. I mean, we don't have to do anything. So now it's about working with Lisa. She's already got the script. She's going through it. We're going to be meeting with her on Thursday. And, it's about honing that performance. Now, obviously, she has to make it her own, right? Like how I did with Freddie and all that kind of stuff. But it's important that, again, we bring that essence there. It's the essence where you look at this and you go, you know what? I totally believe this could be Jess Bradford from 1974, 50 years later. 100%. Totally could believe that. And we've gotten wonderful feedback on just the photos that we released today. Now, you look at her and you go, well, obviously it doesn't look exactly like Olivia Hussey, but wow, there's a striking resemblance in terms of the type, right? Remember I was talking about the type, like a Harrison Ford type, or like a Julia Roberts type, you know what I mean? And that's a thing that is said, in show business. And usually, like if I say to you, Bob, I want you to go out and I want you to bring me a bunch of headshots that are like a Harrison Ford type. You know what that means. Okay. Handsome, right? Classical handsome look, right? Nice jawline, you look at Harrison Ford, like it's a type, right? And Olivia Hussey certainly has that. And Lisa Kovak has that. Shout out to, I don't know if she's watching, but but shout out to her if she is. And so that was important to us. So it's a whole package that's important. But yeah, she can do the accent, and she has a lot of experience, which is great. Nighttime follows up with $2, says, one day you will contact Danielle Harris for a role. One day I will contact Danielle Harris for a role. Danielle Harris for a role? Well, okay. Hey, I'm open to it. I have nothing against Danielle. Brandon Collins sends in $5. Thank you, Brandon, and says, these nimrods lack a fundamental understanding of how press works. It's very true. If you had made a fake casting announcement, it would have been discovered day one. Yeah, that's what's funny about it too. So there are people out there that actually believe, thank you, Brad. And by the way, you've been, terrific at sort of spearheading that in the I appreciate that, because we're so busy doing other things. And it's true, right? I mean, what morons would Bruce and I have to be to look at each other and go, you know what? Let's just say we got her. We'll raise money and we got the money. Who cares? What's our end game there? How is that going to work? I mean, eventually she's not going to be in the movie. So how would that, like, what dim-witted Nimrod, I'll take your word, would do that? That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, right? And you're right. I mean, you look at Bloody Disgusting picked it up, and Collider picked it up, and Screen Rant picked it up, and people were talking, I mean, if we were lying, we would have been sent a cease and desist immediately by her team, being like, who the fuck are you guys? No, that's not happening. They didn't do that because it was real. And again, this thing, Olivia, she wasn't talking about on her social media. She wasn't really, this kind of stuff. Well, again, you have to put things in perspective. First of all, Olivia, she's pretty active actually on social media, but just really with kind of retweeting stuff and resharing sort of Instagram stories. She's a very big animal lover. She's a social animal activist. So she retweets and reshares a lot of that kind of stuff. She didn't talk about our project because, number one, she hadn't signed a contract yet. Right now, she signed an LOI, which means she's attached to the project. Like, she's like, I'm totally down. Like, I'm ready to go. But she hadn't signed a contract yet, right? And that's no fault of our own because of SAG, right? Because of the strike. So, I mean, what likely would have happened is if she did sign the contract and we were ready to go, you probably would have seen her made some sort of post or tweet, at the airport, going to Canada for a movie or something, right? Like, I mean, there might have been, but she's not going to do that yet when there's no contract signed, right? And keep in mind, we are a small indie short horror production in Canada. Okay. Right. I mean, it's, we're not, she wasn't cast in a Marvel movie. Okay. So, on the hierarchy of importance in her day-to-day life, it's there. I mean, she's excited about it. She's ready to go, but she's not, there's no need to share about it yet because, again, we needed that contract. So like I said, she signed the LOI. That means, hey, you meet this and this, I'm in. I have her signature. I've got it saved, and I've got, she said, Olivia Hussey, she printed her name, signed it. She dated it. It's her signature. Her manager sent it over. It's really her manager. There's an article in New York Magazine from a couple of months ago, with that same manager, who we've been talking to. So he told us about the magazine article months before it came out. It's all real. It's all real. It's just that people are upset. Well, some people are confused and skeptical because of how close we are to go to camera. Of going to camera, I should say. And I understand that. So ask the question, but don't be a dick about it. Don't accuse us of lying when we've done no such thing. There's no evidence of it, and I wish I could open up my email right now and share my screen and show you everything. But A, I'm not legally allowed to do that. And B, it's none of your fucking business. You know what I'm saying? It's not, it's negotiations with a Hollywood actress. It's none of your fucking business, right? But they're there. And we went as far the other day to show you the contract, the agreement, and the terms, So, I mean, but anyway, yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's coming from a very small minority who like to create fake outrage, right? It's just what these people do online. I never hear from these people. They never engage. They never contribute. They just sit silently in the back and they look for opportunities to go, and it's like, dude, either contribute or shut up. I don't care. You know what I mean? And if you didn't donate to my campaign, I really don't give a shit what you think. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? So as harsh as that sounds, you'll have to excuse me, but we've worked our asses off to make a dream come true, and it's not going to happen, at least not in the ways that we want, right? Not in the ways that we want. And so, you'll have to excuse me, but I've had it up to here with from people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean? And our cast and crew is disappointed too. And but they've been very supportive, which is great, and it's amazing. Look, we have an amazing cast, right? From Victoria Miro to Lisa Kovak, to Carol Coltman, to Brian Charles Peter, to Lynn Griffin, to Sean Sullivan, to Glenn Michael Grant, a terrific cast. Our crew, is amazing. Our first assistant camera, V, our second assistant camera, Karina, our DP, Greg Bennett, our key grip, Doug Cunningham, our gaffer, Nikita, our PA, Michael. We got 2 grip electric swings in Luke and Zachary. And we got assistant director, our AD, David Fernandez, whose experience is fantastic. He's part of the DGC, which is the Directors Guild of Canada. We got a fantastic team. A fantastic team that is ready to go. And so just shut up and go crunch one out. That's what I have to say to that. Thank you, Brandon. All right. Simon Mill sends in 10 pounds. Thanks, Simon. Says, hope you're okay, Dave. I'm doing okay. And thank you for everybody who tuned in or is tuning in right now. I do appreciate it. I just, I'm doing all right. It's been a couple of days now. It was a huge shock that first day. I was so scared because I'm like, oh my God. Like it's scary when that happens. It's very scary because what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like we had a potential PR nightmare on our hands, but I'm doing okay. It's not your fault, and you have always been honest with this. I appreciate that. We get this. We'll get through this, and IMB2 will be great. It's sad that people attack you that haven't supported this. Yeah, well, again, right? You can pick them out of a crowd. Right? They usually look, and I'm sorry, but there's just certain people in this world that just look slimy. They just look like slimy douchebags who would be online going, you know what I'm saying? And usually 9 times out of 10, when I see somebody in a chat or in a comment who's being overly dramatic, right? And yelling and screaming or demanding $15,000 in Bitcoin, they usually do look like people like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, oh God. Why do these people all look like they all are part of the same fan club? And anyway, I know that's maybe not a nice thing to say, but, I've just about had it. All right, let me see. Amaducia sends in 5. Oh, hang on. Did you say something else? I want to make sure I got everything you said. Oh, yes. And we believe in this project as well. Like Bruce and I said the other day, nothing else changes. We're still going to deliver a professional product through and through. I can tell you we have our lighting test day on November 13th. Our loadout day is November 17th. We'll be loading out on I think we have one 8-foot panel van. We have 2 16-foot cube trucks. And we have, listen, let's put it this way. The replacement value for our camera package, okay? Now, this isn't the cost of renting the camera package. Remember, this is the replacement value. So if something happened to our camera package, like we drove it off a cliff, this is how much we'd have to spend to replace it. The replacement value of our camera package alone, that doesn't include lighting and grip, is $840,000. $840,000 worth of camera equipment. So we're not fucking around. Just like chapter one. Just like chapter one. This is the real deal. So we are, we take this seriously, and it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. And Olivia not being on board, it is disappointing. But like I said, nobody is as disappointed as you might all be. Nobody is more disappointed than Bruce and I. We're the ones that did the hard work. We're the ones that reached out to her manager. We're the ones that convinced her to come on board. We're the ones that did all that legwork over the last 4 months, signing the contracts, dealing with 2 unions, opening up a production company, joining the CMPA, which is the Canadian Media Producers Association, spending thousands of dollars on lawyer fees and this fees and that fees. We're the ones that did that. So, I mean, it's like, it's devastating, but the show must go on. And Olivia will be there in spirit. Actually, her manager called me yesterday, because he wanted to talk about something. Anyway, he said that she's going to be there in spirit. And I said, absolutely, 100%, and we talked a bit about maybe something, when the movie's all out, you know what I mean? Can't get any further than that, but I'm just saying, so we're ready to go. We're ready to go. We are committed to the process. We're committed to delivering a professional product and an ending that Black Christmas and horror fans can be proud of. I know it doesn't have Olivia in it, but our goal as filmmakers and as storytellers is you're going to watch that movie and you're going to go, well, okay, obviously it doesn't have Olivia in it, but damn, that was good. What a great ending. What a great ending to the story, right? Now, again, I mean, obviously, we're not going to have buildings exploding and cars going off cliffs. I mean, I don't mean epic in that sense. I mean, the epic conclusion in terms of it wrapping everything up tightly and, nicely. And it's like, okay, yes. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff. And that's the most important thing to us. So, and there's some reveals in there and some interesting things and a lot of symbolism. If you like symbolism and nuance and layers, pay close attention to Billy too, because there's going to be moments and things that happen where you go, I see what they've done there. I know why they're doing this. Okay, yeah, yes, I see what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like we're bringing it in for a landing now, that kind of thing. Anyway, thank you, Amadusius. Appreciate it. Oh, wait a minute. No, he sent in another one. Did he send another one? Oh, no, that was Simon. Amadusius sends in one, $5, says, be honest, Dave, you're just going on another Hawaiian vacation money. You know what? All right, you're right, I am. But yes, that's what we're going to do. Actually, we're shooting in Hawaii, and that's what we're doing. Yeah. That's what we're doing. But like Bruce said the other day, I just got a text from Bruce now talking about production insurance. No, I haven't seen that exchange. Was he not CC'd on that? No, he was. Okay. He's just following up. Again, this is what I mean. And generators. Okay. Talking about generators and everything. See, it's happening. Even when I want to take a break and come on here and chat with you guys. But you know what? I know we're talking about the production and talking about everything that's happened over the last few days, but it's okay. It's okay because this is therapeutic for me to come on here and just sort of kind of talk about it. And for you guys, the donors, the viewers, the backers, right? It's okay. I'm not, you know what I mean? It kind of helps, to be honest with you. But like Bruce said the other day, we also want people to know, well, all that money that you were going to spend on Olivia, like her salary, her flights, her hotel, all that kind of stuff, right? What are you going to do with that? Because we had somebody go, what are you going to do with that? Like, and I want to be like, no, we're just going to take it and like just spend it. We are, as Bruce said the other day, we're reinvesting it back into the production. And so we're going to be able to pay our crew more, and we're going to be able to, give everybody their own room at a hotel, or, we're going to be able to invest back into equipment now as well, right? To up the production value. And you know what? We were going to get this jib, but now we can get this jib. You know what? We were actually going to get, we were going to get this dolly, but now we can get this, all that kind of stuff, right? It's being reinvested just right back into the film. And so that, because we can't make anything from it. So here we have this money. We're like, well, let's reinvest it back into the movie. We can give, we can up the catering now too, right? So, hey, you know what? We can actually have that now, or whatever the case is, right? So that's where it's being reinvested. And we just did that the other day. We broke down the budget the other day, and we went through all that. So yeah, it's been a crazy few days, but we're happy with how we've handled everything. All right. Have I missed any super chats? I don't think I have. Hang on. No, I don't think I have. Okay. Let me see what others are saying here. I see the slaughtered lamb in the chat. Great to see the slaughtered lamb here. Lee the Machine Bauer says, Dave, my man, I'm happy you found a replacement. Much love. Olivia will be there in spirit. Absolutely. I should have a cameo. Crunch one out. Cheers. Could you imagine? There you are, Lee. You're on the toilet just crunching one out. There's the cameo. Geeked Out Turtle Fan 43 says, Dave is buying a banana hammock and laying on to the sun in Maui. Yep, that's it. That's what we're doing. Yeah, we're taking the entire cast and crew over there. That's what we're doing. We're just taking the entire cast. Yeah, we're just shooting the movie in Maui now is what we're doing. And everybody be like, where's the house? Like, what do you mean? Actually, we're going to green screen it. No, we're going to shoot on the volume. We're going to shoot on the volume stage. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. Why not? Tony Michael from Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Amazing says, actually, Dave is planning on giving me $60,000 worth of lap dances now that I'm back in the bachelor life. It's true. I am. I mean, I thought, Tony, I thought, here you go. I mean, now I could either give you the $60,000 or I could give you myself $60,000 worth of lap dances. I could stand in front of you and gyrate my hips, but I don't think Tony's going to want that. He's probably just going to want it. Cash. I'll put it in a briefcase and I'll UPS it to you. Just a briefcase full of cash is what it'll be. That's so funny. Bobby's brother says, next thing is Dave McRae leaves the project. Then we see him and Olivia on holiday in Hawaii, and we'll all be behind you. That would actually be really funny. That'd be really funny. Warren Armour says, Dave is getting chocolate milk. Oh, no, but you know what? It's funny. I said to the caterer, did I say this? Maybe I didn't say this. I'm going to have chocolate milk on set. Oh, yes. I'm going to have chocolate. I mean, I don't drink chocolate milk like coffee. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like, I'm going to have it all the time. But for lunch or dinner or bread, like one of the meals throughout the day, it would be nice to have a chocolate milk. Yeah. I'm so, look, I mean, as disappointing as this is, and I say as disappointing as this is, and it is disappointing, there is and hopefully you will all understand what I mean when I say this. There is a little bit of relief moving forward because we know now. And, it didn't look like we were going to be able to shoot, not because of Olivia, but because we weren't going to get the SAG interim agreement in time. And there was so much, there's a lot of work and a lot of stress, right? And it's not the answer we wanted, but now we know the answer, right? We know what it is. We were hit with a double whammy, unfortunately, but now we can make hard decisions now and move forward and deliver the best product that we possibly can. And I know that not having Olivia attached, again, it loses, it's true. The project loses a bit of its cachet. I understand that, but Lynn is still attached. Sean Sullivan is attached. I mean, he's not a Black Christmas alum, but he's a very experienced actor and been in a ton of stuff. Back to the Future 3, Wayne's World. He was the other number 5 or the other number, whatever it's called, on Umbrella Academy. I mean, we got a great team, a great crew. And So like I said, we're still going to deliver a professional product through and through. You're going to watch the movie and you're going to be blown away again, and hopefully enjoy it and like the story too. You know, and again, but it's art, right? I mean, you can't please everybody. There's going to be people that like the direction we take it. There's going to be people that don't like the direction we take it. There's going to be people that really enjoy it. There's going to be people that don't really enjoy it. But I can tell you this. We do give you an ending. We do. It's not like we leave it open for like, you know, chapter 3 and 4 and 5. And no. We ain't Hollywooding this shit. You know, great stories can have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Michael Thorne sends in $4.99, says, Olivia or no Olivia, the quality that you and Bruce produce is undeniable. Me and everyone else with half a brain has got your back. Thanks, Michael. Really appreciate that. Well, I mean, it's important to us, right? You know, I mean, look, I mean, it's not just about the quality of the film in terms of production value. I mean, the writing has to be there and the story has to be there and the performances have to be there. And again, although chapter 1 didn't resonate with everybody, you know, we're very proud of what we were able to deliver, not just in production value. I mean, obviously the film looks like, you know, a studio picture, but in terms of the performances, we thought the 3 leads were fantastic, and Kara was fantastic, and Brian was fantastic. And, you know, and, you know, the post on it, the sound and the editing and just how it all came together we're very proud of that project and the way that we ended it, and to leave it on that, oh my God, you know, and we're very excited to jump back into it and finish this off. So, I mean, obviously, again, everything's got to be firing, and some people will like this and some people will, you know, won't like that. And then there'll be some people that like it all. But hopefully for those that, I think by the time, I mean, the movie is like, you know, 11 months away from being released. So I think by the time we get to this time next year, there'll be a lot of excitement. You know, because, yeah, there'll be a lot of excitement around it. And it's the 50th anniversary of Black Christmas next year. So we're going to be pimping that and pumping that out too. I mean, it's a big deal for this film. It's a big deal for Canadian film. You know, Black Christmas is one of the most important Canadian movies ever made, and it's one of the most important horror films ever made. So yeah, it's a big year for us next year. And our goal this year is to have a teaser trailer for you for Christmas Eve, this Christmas Eve. So, you know, basically like a month and a half from now, you'll probably have a teaser trailer. I can't guarantee it. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's the goal, you know, is to have a teaser for you for this Christmas. Same thing we did 3 years ago. Aaron Click says, it's me, Billy, chapter 3. It's me, Bitcoin. Yeah, it's so dumb. These people are so, I mean, who are these people? Why do you follow me? I don't understand. Like, I don't know if it's an age thing or if it's, you know, it's a generation thing, but if I don't like somebody or if I'm not really into somebody, I don't watch them and I don't follow them. So I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, what are you, 7? You know, and then you learn, you know, and you find out that some of these people who actually do have their profile pictures on their, you know, profile are actually like guys my age. And it's like, God, you know, they're holding their kids or something. I'm like, God, does your kid know you're a douchebag online? I mean, I hate to say it like that, but come on, dude. Like, you know, I mean, like, fuck. It's unreal. It's unreal. Ba-ba-ba-boom. Geeked Out Turtle Fan says, I started watching IMDb because of the nostalgia Black Christmas. Was Olivia being back cool? Yeah, but the ultimate reason, you'll just be shirtless to sell the film. That's it. Yeah, I mean, she was the cherry on top. I think Nick Push said it best over on X. He said, look, you know, having of course we're all disappointed because we were all looking forward to it. And that's what the campaign was built on. But these things happen. And at the end of the day, you know, she was the cherry on top. Again, it might be different for some people, but I think for at least a fair number of you who really enjoyed part 1, it was like, well, I just want to see how it ends. You know, I thought Victoria was great. I want to see, you know, Agnes and Bill and how that's going to, I just want to go back to that universe again and see how it all ends. And Olivia was just the cherry on top. But now that you remove the cherry doesn't mean that, the cake or the ice cream is not still going to be good. So, I mean, he didn't say all of that. I'm just adding to it, but he just said that she was the cherry on top. But at the end of the day, it is, I mean, you still got this. And I agree with that. I think it was a nice thing to say. The vast majority of people have been really supportive and really kind. Really supportive and really kind. And the trolls that they don't have the balls to come into the chat room and say this anyway. Well, unless, it's a one particular troll who, whatever. But they don't, right? They just do it behind the comfort of their screen, and they get on Twitter and they create a fake account and they sit there and they think they're being cool. It's just mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling to me. I don't know. It's different generations, I guess. Let me see. Ba 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 boom. Ba 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 ba. Just want to get somebody I haven't gotten before or not recently. Ryan Oshlow says, Dave, Will It's Me, Billy, Chapter 2 will be more darker in tone, substance in substance than Chapter 1, I think is what you're saying. Yes, it is darker. It's darker in tone. Now, again, keep in mind that Chapter 2, we're not a Friday the 13th film. So if what you want is Vincent DeSantis' Never Hike Alone 2, which was great, shout out to Vince, he did such an amazing job, you got to go over there and watch that, because that's a Friday the 13th movie. That's blood, gore, heads coming off, all that kind of stuff. That's, like that kind of stuff. Black Christmas isn't cut from the same cloth of storytelling. Now, because this is essentially the second half of our movie, Chapter 2, do things get a little more intense and things get a little more real? And is there maybe a little something in the way of blood? Sure, yeah, of course. But I mean like gratuitous blood and gore, right? Like, like Terrifier or a real, one of the later Friday the 13th movies or something, even though the MPA would really chop that up. But you know what I mean though, right? It's a different vibe. Black Christmas is a psychological horror thriller, right? And so the pacing of Billy Chapter 1, although the pacing of Chapter 2, I think will be a bit different. But it's still going to have that psychological slow burn feel to it, right? Because it has to connect to the first part really well, but it is the climax, so we do kind of pick up, and so it's all these things, right? It's still going to feel like it lives and breathes in that same universe. So yes, it is darker in tone, but that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we're going balls to the wall and it's like a completely different style, or something like that. It just means that it gets a little more intense, within the confines of our budget, and the story, right? So yeah. Super chat comes in from Matthew Farisi. Thank you, Matthew. Really appreciate that. Says, those of us who have been longtime followers know you guys are going to deliver. You silenced the idiot trolls with part 1 and will again with part 2, with part 2. Thank you for saying that, Matthew, and I'll read your other one here in a second. I think so too. I think there were a lot of people that didn't think we could. Now, again, it doesn't mean everybody likes part 1. I mean, I get that there are people that didn't like it or didn't like all of it. I mean, that's art, right? It's art. But I do think there were people that maybe certain doubters. I'm not going to call them trolls necessarily, because like a troll is a very specific thing, but definitely certain doubters who were either completely proven wrong, taken back, and just couldn't, they couldn't humble themselves enough to admit it. So you just never heard from them again. But there actually were a few people that reached out and said, it's not that I didn't think you could do it, but I just wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting that. Like I remember, do you remember when we launched the micro teaser? It was maybe a day or two or a week before we launched the actual teaser trailer. I launched like a 10 or 15 second micro teaser. I don't even know if that's a real thing. I just called it a micro teaser. I'm surprised it's not in the vernacular yet, but, and it was like 10 seconds long, and it was just a shot of the house on the drone shot of the house moving up, and then you just cut inside to the 3 leads, and that was it. And I remember a lot of just that snippet. There were some people going, "Oh, okay, this, like, the quality of this looks not what, wow." And that was by design, right? I mean, I don't say that. I don't say that for people out there who might think that I'm, somehow trying to be pretentious. I'm not at all. I say that as just a reminder for those out there of how serious we take this, right? You know what I mean? That's all. That's all. It's just that we take it very seriously. We're hiring real crew, real actors, using cinematic grade equipment. We're going out, we're making a real movie. And that's what this is. And that's what the goal has always been, right? You know what I mean? Is to showcase what we can do and to pay, like it's a number of things. We want to showcase what we can do as filmmakers. We want to, you know, tip our hat to one of the greatest Canadian horror films ever made, a Canadian staple in Canadian cinema. It's the 50th anniversary next year. There's a lot of things we want to do. And, but in order to do it, we have to deliver, right? We got to deliver on quality, you know, and all around, like production value, sound, post, performance, story, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's, I think you're right. I think you're right. Matthew says, by the way, have you seen the Terrifier 3 teaser? I have seen the Terrifier 3 teaser, not because I went to the theater, but, it leaked online. And I watched it and I thought it was, like, I mean, as far as teasers go, I thought it was a good teaser. I mean, that's the way a teaser should be. Art the Clown is going to be released next October as well. It's a Christmas film, but they're releasing Terrifier 2 weeks after we release Billy. Now, obviously, they don't care about us because we're not like a theatrical release or anything like that. But we're releasing Billy 2 on October 11th. And just so everybody's clear, the reason why we chose October 11th, because we are a Christmas movie after all, but is because that is the date that the original Black Christmas was released in Canada. It wasn't released until I think the day after Christmas or in and around Christmas in the States, but in Canada, it was released on Friday, October 11th, 1974. So we're releasing Chapter 2 on Friday, October 11th, 2024. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah. And then we got 2 weeks until Art demolishes any sort of interest. But the good thing is that we, you know, it's an online film anyway, but we have the Halloween crowd because we are a horror movie, even though we're Christmas. And then we get the Christmas too, right? So yeah, that's good. Billy Joyner sends in $2, says, hey Dave, is it still possible to order a Blu-ray? It is. Oh yeah, absolutely. The campaign is on right now. It's in demand. So the link is in the description. If you want a Blu-ray of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, if you want hoodies or t-shirts, or there's one associate producer perk left, just one. So if you want a signed poster by the cast and crew, because remember, we're going to get everybody to sign the poster, in a couple of weeks when we're up at the location. That's when we get everybody to sign it because we're all together, right? It's just a lot easier that way. So not that we still wouldn't, you know, honor the signed poster you get with an associate producer credit. If you did not pick it up, we would figure out a way to do it for you, of course. But there is still one associate producer perk left. And we'd love to sell that out. But yes, absolutely. There's still lots of, oh, and also, by the way, we've added the digital download perk for Chapter 1. That's been added to the campaign, and a double digital download. So you can get Chapter 1 and 2 digitally. You get the movie, the behind the scenes, the script, the poster, and some promotional images digitally. Right. So we will just eventually send you a link and you just download them. And the It's Me Billy Chapter 1 digital download, you will get this Christmas, right? You won't get Chapter 2 this Christmas because, you know, the movie will still be in post, but you will get we'll be able to deliver you the Chapter 1 digital package, which is really cool. BDDB. Robert Thidoff says, Dave, don't lie. The extra funds now will be used for that snow machine I am always asking for. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, the good news is with Chapter 2 is that it won't, it's not, it was more important that we had snow on the first film. And even then it wasn't like a deal breaker. This film is even less important that we have snow outside. So we're not too worried about that. If there is, that's great, but we're not too worried about it. And keep in mind, we still have a year until we release the movie. So if we needed B-roll, if we needed something, I mean, it's not, we can go and, you know, back up there in the winter, right? You know what I mean? So not a big deal. Da-da-da-dee. Colin Murdy says, can't wait until next October. Should be a hell of a month for horror with Chapter 2 coming out, plus whatever else we get around that time. Maxine, Crystal Lake TV show, and Terrifier 3. Yeah, we haven't heard too much about the Crystal Lake TV. I mean, well, obviously because the writers were on strike. The actors are still on strike. So there's a lot of things that we just don't know yet. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to finding out more info on that and what exactly is, you know, it's all about, for sure. I want to know sort of where we are in that, because we really haven't heard anything. You know, I mean, I know, what's her face there that played Alice, Adrienne King. I know that, was it last year or the year before? God, I think it was last year. She had mentioned something about starting. I don't even think they've started shooting. Has Crystal Lake started shooting and they were shut down by the strike? Or maybe they hadn't even started yet. I don't know. So it's crazy stuff. Cody the Zombie sends in $1.99. Thank you, Cody. One of our channel members here says, I've moved recently. How can I change my address? You go on to Indiegogo and you should be able to change it there. Yeah, if you go to the Indiegogo campaign, if you still have the email, the confirmation email to your donation, then and that's what I'm assuming you mean in relation to the campaign and not just in general how you change your address. It's a weird question to ask me. You can do it on the Indiegogo campaign. You can change your address there. So yeah, folks, anybody who's donated to the campaign and who has ordered something that has to be physically mailed to you, right? And you move in between now and, you know, this time next year, please go and update your address on the campaign or we're going to ship it to somebody else. That happened a couple of times. I remember we shipped something to Australia and the guy actually called me. He called me and was like, yeah, whoever you shipped this to doesn't live here anymore. I bought the house from them. So they were very kind and forwarded the mail on to them, which was very nice, free of charge, which was really sweet. So shout out to whoever you were. I can't remember you now, but so that can happen. So yes, please always remember to update your shipping address, you know, because these things can take a while, right? You know what I mean? All right. Oliver Mercer sends in £5. Thanks, Oliver. Says, regarding Olivia, would you consider having a special video clip from Olivia, perhaps for Billy too? Well, it depends, right? I mean, it again, because of the health situation and all that kind of stuff. I mean, sure. I mean, I'd be open to it, but there's no guarantees at the moment. We just got to get through sort of this thing that's happening right now. There's a lot going on in their lives, and, you know, there's the health, there's other things that are happening. And so, but I don't think she would be against doing something like that. But let's get to the other side, let's get to the other side of post. Let's get into next year. Let's get things rocking and we'll see where we are. All right. Let me go to the other screen. I want to make sure that I've gotten all the superior chats. I just want to make sure. Steve Evans. Oh, Steve Evans. I didn't get that one. Steve Evans sends in $1.99 and says, have you seen Exorcist Believer yet? Yikes. I have not seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I think I've got all the others. I believe I've got all the others. So that's good. Oh, did another one just come in? No. Okay. Where are we here? There we go. All right. Let me see. 1 second. I need to give this a shout out here. Holy cow. I just went to my inbox and I've got 7 emails, all relating to the production. It's pretty intense stuff. What was I going to type in? I was going to type in my email because this is related. You know what? I got to go over to the campaign. There's somebody on the campaign who I'm trying to get in touch with because they picked up the be in the movie perk where they have themselves on a missing poster. I've reached out to this individual via their email, but I several times over the last few months, and I haven't heard back from them. So I need to just, now that I'm live here, maybe you guys know who this is, or maybe you're watching right now. I'll probably make a social media post about this actually. If nothing comes from it, if nothing comes of it from here, I'll make a social media post. But let me just go over here. I need to get the name of this individual. All right. So be in the movie. No, I got them. Must be the other one. Okay, one sec. 1 second, folks. Bear with me. Is that the same one? No, here we go. I am trying to get in touch with is it that person? Let me just have a look. Hang on a sec. I got to go have a look now and see if they are in the folder. Hang on. This is real-time stuff here. Let me just have a look at this. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to get in touch with a Daniel Zampella. Daniel Zampella. Daniel, if you're out there and if you're watching, I've emailed you. I think I have anyway. 1 sec. Hang on a sec. Just make sure I'm not fucking this up and everyone's going to be. That's not coming up. Wait a minute. That's weird. Wait a minute. Hang on a sec. Maybe they are. No. Okay. All right. Well, I'm trying to get in touch with I thought there was somebody else. 1 second. 1 second here, folks. This is real-time stuff. Just give me a second. Maybe there's two people I need to get in touch with. All right. 1 sec. I'm trying to, oh my God. Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, I'm trying to get in touch with a Daniel. Yeah, it's him. I'm trying to get in touch with a Daniel Zampella. Daniel Zampella. Daniel, if you're watching, Daniel, please check your spam or your inbox or get in touch with me via Facebook. You've paid to be in this movie and we're coming down to now, thankfully, where this will show up in the movie is not what we're shooting in 2 weeks. Okay. Because there's the main block that we're shooting, which is up at the house. And then there will be some shooting dates back in Toronto at a later date. And that's where that will happen. So you have some time, but please reach out to me. You've paid for this. If you don't want your name that's fine, but you just have to let me know. Well, I guess you could also just not reach out. But if I don't hear from you, then unfortunately your face won't wind up on a missing persons poster in the movie. So, but you've paid for it. So, Daniel Zampella, if you are out there, if you're watching this, I've emailed you 2 or 3 times now over the last couple of months and I haven't heard from you at all. So please check your email. Please get in touch with me, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook. Many Things Dave McRae on Facebook. And just let me know what's up. All right. Sorry about that, folks. I just wanted to mention that while I was live in case he's watching. All right, super chat from Jeremy Rodriguez. Thank you, Jeremy. Sends in $4.99. I believe this means it's his very first super chat. Shout out to Jeremy Rodriguez. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate that very much. And says, hey, Dave, wish you well. Did you see that Dead Meat covered Dylan's New Nightmare? I did. I really hope that your coverage, helps you out. I really enjoy your channel. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks a lot. I did see that. Yeah, I don't know. Is it James? Is that the guy's name? I don't know him through a hole in the wall, but I know, obviously, I mean, to be fair, I don't watch Dead Meat. That's not a slight against them. It's just not a channel I usually, I mean, I know about it. You can't be online in the horror space and not know about Dead Meat because they're huge. But I don't watch the channel though. That's not a slight to James. It's just, you know, sometimes you watch things and, you know, I'm not really into the kill count stuff. But he's made a terrific living for himself, and he's got a huge channel and a great following, and I'm sure the guy's awesome. So shout out to James. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And because a lot of people love the shit out of what you're doing. And thank you. Thanks. Yeah. To, you know, for doing the film. I think that's awesome. I did watch it, and I thought he did a great job. And so for those of you that are fans of the channel and love that kind of stuff, you probably got a real kick out of seeing it. So, I mean, admittedly, it wasn't really top of mind over the last couple of days because everything going on my end, but I was aware of it. I did see it. I think James did a great job. And it was nice to see the positive response from James and also from people in the comment section as well. Simon Mills sends in £5 and says, talking of black and white horror, Dave, have you seen 1931's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? I have not. Frederick March gives an Oscar winner performance and makeup effects are great. I'll have to check that out, man. No, I have not, actually. I have not seen that. I will definitely have to check that out. I like those old black and white movies for sure. Nighttime says, use my picture if he doesn't message you. Well, that wouldn't be fair, right? It would have to be, you know, because again, that would be giving you something that other people had to pay for. So if Daniel wants to gift his package to somebody else, that's different. But I can't just take it and give it to somebody else that you know, I'd rather just leave it off because it's not fair to others who had to pay for it. Kenny525 says, yeah, you guys couldn't have picked a better actress. She looks so much like Jess Bradford. Well, that's just it, right? That's just it. I think, Lisa, you've hit the nail right on the head there. I mean, obviously they're not identical twins, but again, it's that type, right? That type of person. And, you know, the question is, when you look at Lisa Kovak, could you believe that this is the same woman 50 years later, not 10 years later, 50 years later? And for us, the answer was a resounding yes. And she's a great actress, you know? And so throw all your support behind her and show her some love because, like I said, it's not an easy thing to step into. You know, I mean, she's coming on board. She's, you know, essentially replacing Olivia Hussey. I mean, that's like Jesus, you know, and it's not easy, but she's professional. She's committed. She's great. She's got a great attitude, and I just can't wait to work with her. Our DP has already on another thing or other things. I don't know if it's just once they've worked together, but he says she's great. She's great to work with. So, hey, that's good enough for me. The Neighborhood says, anyone here a fan of Carnival of Souls 1962? Ooh, I've never heard of it. I'm with you on that area. 1962 Carnival of Souls. I'll have to check it out. Fear the Phantom says, Dave, thoughts on the new slashers Thanksgiving and It's a Wonderful Knife. Are you going to watch them? Well, I'm definitely going to watch Thanksgiving because that was shot up here and Lynn Griffin is in that. She's got a small role in that. So that'll be fun to see. But again, it's not necessarily something I'd go to the theater to see. And then It's a Wonderful Knife. I've heard of this, but I don't know if I've watched It's a Wonderful Knife. Maybe I've watched the trailer. I can't remember now if I've watched the trailer. I'm going to have to check it out. Have I watched the trailer? I don't know. I'll have to see. I'm not sure, but yeah, but they'll probably be streaming for me, you know, probably something like that. Marshall McRae. Hey, is your last name really McRae? That's awesome if it is. Because it's also spelt the same as mine, MCRAE. Because, you know, you can spell it. There's so many ways to spell it, right? There's that spelling. There's MAC, MCC, MACRAE. MMCCRA. There's so many different ways. That's cool if it is. Jonathan V says, Dave, will the film be in dedication to Olivia? I don't think so. No, I mean, it wouldn't. I mean, if we decided to dedicate it to anybody, it wouldn't be just to Olivia, because, I mean, you know, we would dedicate it to, you know, maybe, usually dedications are done for people who have passed away. So if there's anybody we would dedicate it to, which I don't think we're going to, but if we did, it would probably be to Bob Clark and Roy Moore, who, you know, the writer and the director of the original film. That's probably who we do it to, right? I mean, unless something, you know, keep our fingers crossed that doesn't happen, unless something tragic happens in the next year. But I mean, no, I don't think we would just do that just because. There would have to be a specific reason why we're doing that. John Entrance says, hey, Dave, what's your thoughts on the Hills Have Eyes movies? I actually like the remake of The Hills Have Eyes. Now, I haven't seen it in a while. What was that, 2006? Was that 2006? Hey, Google, what year did the remake of The Hills Have Eyes come out?
In the United States of America, The Hills Have Eyes came out on March 10th, 2006.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. I actually think that's, again, I haven't seen it in years, but I remember thinking, oh, as far as remakes go of 70s, you know, B, you know, indie slasher movies, this is pretty good. Like, this is, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's, I actually quite liked it. The original I've also seen, and I liked it. You know, I mean, it's old, obviously, but it's all right. Not one of my favorites by Wes. I'd much rather watch, you know, obviously, you know, you know, Elm Street and even The People Under the Stairs and things like that. But the original Hills Have Eyes is all right. Yeah, it's good. Like, I like them enough. I like them enough. And I think the remake in 06 was good. It was good. Bobby Hall says, Dave, Tommy Lee Wallace said the reason why the silhouettes of the kids on the H3 poster are elongated is because the film was shot anamorphic, and when he saw a film strip, he thought it looked creepy. Oh, did he really say that? Dude, I had no idea. I had no idea. That makes total sense, but I had no idea that he even said that. Just the other day, I just, with my keen eye, was just, I've always really liked it because of that. I had no idea that that was not like a photograph, you know, separately from the actual film. Like, I didn't realize it was a screen grab, right? Essentially a screen grab, like a frame from the actual film strip. I didn't realize that. I thought it was like, you know, something else. That's cool. Well, hey, he's right. I think the Halloween 3 poster is a terrific poster. Again, the movie is okay for me. You know, I don't love it like the way some people do, but I don't hate it either. But the poster I think is great. And the subtitle too, you know, The Night No One Comes Home or Came Home, or The Night No One Came Home, Night No One Comes Home. I think it's The Night No One Comes Home. Such a great tagline, you know, and so I quite, I quite enjoyed it. And the poster is great. And just, you know, it's just those creepy elongated silhouettes against the backdrop of this, you know, red dying sunset kind of thing. At least that's how I interpret it. It's just eerie. It's eerie. He's right. It is eerie. It's a very eerie image. Probably one of the most eerie images out there, for sure. For sure. Ribadoo 20, is that how you say that? Ribadoo 20 says, Dave, do you think the new Scream movies would be ruined if Stu came back? Not necessarily, but I have to be convinced. It has to be properly motivated. You can't just bring him back for the sake of bringing him back. It's got to I have to believe it. I have to believe that he survived the television. I have to believe, like really believe, that his absence for 25 years makes total sense. I have to believe that it, you know, why in Scream 6 did they have a poster of him saying that he was dead, something like that, right? I have to, like, it's got him, and I'm not saying they can't do that, it's all in the writing, but I don't necessarily believe that you've got to have him back. I mean, it's unnecessary. The reason why Scream fans want Stu back is because there was a little window that was created where I guess it's possible. But I don't want him to come back for the sake of it, because then you're just going to water down, or potentially water down, the significance of his role in that first movie. Now, that doesn't mean you can't build upon that and make it epic and great. Yeah, of course. It has to be properly motivated. You can't at any point in time, at no point in time, can you sit there and after the movie's done, or even during the movie, go, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. You can't have it like that. Well, I guess this will do. Yeah, because you're so excited to see Stu back that you let a kind of half-ass reason of why he's back slide because you're so enamored with him being back. When at the end of the day, when you break it down and you look at the reason why he's back and you look at how they try to connect the dots, you go, I guess? Sure. Okay, sure. You know what I'm saying? And that happens a lot in movies, doesn't it? And I don't think that they should do that. If they can't bring it back where it's like, oh, yes, okay, then don't do it. But that's me. I'm also not a huge Scream fan. I mean, I like Scream enough. I just mean I'm not like, it's not one of my favorites. So, yeah, I just don't, It's got to make sense. It's got to make sense. And I don't just mean that it makes sense like there's logically. I mean, you can have little things make sense logically, like he survived the TV because, I don't know, you write something, what. But I'm talking about the bigger picture, connecting everything. It's got to be tight and ironclad. You know what I mean? You can't have somebody going, well, I guess. But that's what will happen. You know what I mean? Is they could, I'm not saying they will, but they could half-ass a reason. And, there'll be hardcore fans out there that are a little more, stickler. But then there'll be a lot of people out there that are just so excited for Stu, they just don't care and they let it slide. They just go, whatever, man, whatever. It's horror. Who cares, man? Who cares? Stu's back, baby. Stu, yeah, Stu. And it's like, yeah, but he's back and it's a bullshit reason. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I liked The Rise of Skywalker better than The Last Jedi, but I'm not here to say that The Rise of Skywalker is everything it should have been. I actually really liked that Rey was a Palpatine, but I'm not here to say that the justification for Palpatine's return was ironclad and amazing. Was it cool to see him back? Of course. It was really cool to see him back. And I thought just there's a lot of cool in that movie, right? Like a lot of cool imagery and moments. But overall, it's like, what? Well, I guess. You know what I mean? So you don't want that. You don't want that, Cody Snyder says, I don't know. That's the thing. I'm not big on these new ones. Billy being back, it's unnecessary, I think. Yeah, well, again, it's fan service, right? It was completely unnecessary to bring, what's his name again? Skeet Aldrich. Completely unnecessary to bring him back. But of course it draws fans in. It's a surprise for fans, and I get why they do it, totally, 100%. Look at us, right? Look at us, right? We have Lynn Griffin, okay, Canadian actress, right? Black Christmas, Strange Brew, Curtains. She's been in a lot of stuff, a lot of TV, movies. She's worked with a lot of people over the years. We wrote a part for her that did absolutely not have to, it did not have to be this. We could have had a completely different person, but we thought, hey, how cool would it be to get Lynn involved? Her character died in the original film, so she can't play that character, but at no point, but these are the things where we go through, where it's gotta make sense, right? So we go through the line, well, did we know that, was there any moment in the original film where it was mentioned that Claire had a sister? The answer is no. There was no mention that she had a sister. There was no mention she didn't have a sister. Boom. Okay, that's great. Enough years have passed now that Lynn could play her sister because, obviously as you age, you look less and less like you did when you were 20. And so, but you still look enough like you at 20 that you look like you're related to yourself, right? So she could totally play her sister. And that's what she's doing, but it's got to be properly motivated. The reason why she's the character now, we know why Lynn's in the movie, but what is the character about? What's her motivation? What she's doing? Why, we can't it's not just fan service. It's fan service, but it's not just fan service. It's got to make sense. It's got to make sense why she's there, her motivation and everything. So by the end of the movie, it doesn't just feel like a wasted cameo that went nowhere. There's agency to it. Again, folks, I'm speaking in the confines of a short film here. I mean, obviously, if we had a $5 million budget, we could shoot a feature, we could expand on a lot more things. But within the confines of our little short story, we think we've done a good job at making it count. It's not just, hey, there's Lynn. You know what I mean? It's not that. Like she's got purpose. And the character itself has purpose and motivation and determination. And so, yeah. Okay, have I missed any other super chats? I just want to make sure I haven't. I think Simon Mills was the last one, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, Simon Mills, I believe you were the last one, if I'm not mistaken. Simon Mills, you are not the father. Oh. Remember Maury... Do you guys remember when Maury Povich was like an actual, just kind of regular talk show? And then for the last 20 years of his life, he was just like the paternity test guy. Yeah. Cody Snyder, you are not the father. I should get a sound bite on here. I should get a sound bite on here of Maury Povich going, Brian Mean, you are the father. No, what did he say? He wouldn't say you are the father. You are not the father. You are the father. Yeah, that's where you go. Yeah. So Brian Mean, you are the father. Oh my God, no. Hopefully everybody knows what I'm talking about. Brian Mean says, bringing back Stu for Scream 7 would be cringe. Let the series die already. Bring back prom night. Oh God, no, don't bring back prom night. Listen, I like I've said many times, I like Scream, the first movie. I like Scream 1. I think it is a good, what its purpose was it served its purpose really well. In my opinion, I think like a lot of horror sequels, the sequels are pretty much diminishing returns. The sense is kind of the same thing over again. But I will say that it's a pretty, if Scream 3 is the worst in your franchise, you're doing pretty fucking good. But when Scream 5 came out and Scream 6 came out, I just was like, they're not bad movies. They're Scream movies. And maybe that's a good thing, right? They're not reinventing the wheel. They're not reinventing the genre. They're playing it safe and they're delivering a Scream movie. But I'm kind of, I don't know, for me, I don't know how many times I can watch a Scream whodunit with a Scooby-Doo moment at the end. You damn kids. I just kind of like, I think the end of, I've said this before on the channel, but I think the end of Scream 6, it should just left it there. From a story perspective, Sam is holding her father's ghost face mask. And it's that moment, looking at the mask, that she has a choice. She has a choice. And she chooses freedom. She chooses not to go down that path by dropping the mask on the ground and walking with her sister off. And that's it. Like, where do you go from here now? Are we just going to, there's going to be another kid out there or another adult out there that's upset at the spring? Well, no, it's Springwood? No, that's Freddie. Sherwood? No. Whatever the fuck the Scream thing is. Woodsboro, that's it. Woodsboro. But you have like this, like it just feels like, and it's not that with great writers, they can't sit down and they can't. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that you've kind of done it. Like you've done it. Sydney's and the end of, you don't need Sydney to come back. because she was wrapped up. That great line when Sam says, "Am I going to be okay?" And Sydney says, "Eventually." That's the passing of the torch right there. That's the older, wiser veteran speaking to the younger one. And that's it. Right? That's all. We don't need to see Sydney again. I mean, we don't need, I know you'd like to. And I know we can extend stories. Of course we can. But the question is it necessary? Well, of course it's not necessary, Dave. It's about money and show business and we like living. I get all that. I don't know. I always look at this and I'm like, it's over. Sam and Tara's story's done. I mean, yes, you could extend it. Okay, let's extend. Okay, so Scream 7 comes around and Sam and Tara it's a couple of years later and they're living together. And then there's this other guy that has a fond love of horror movies and was connected to Sam's father's uncle's former roommate. And they, like, of course we can continue to extend this, but, and it can make sense and you can draw conclusions and I get that, but I'm just kind of like, well, it's kind of over. Like, there it was. It's very, I like stuff. Like, I like buttons on things. And if you, like, I hate series that don't know when to end. They have a great ending. It's a great button. It's symbolic. I'm going to give you one here. It's symbolic. It means something. It's powerful. It's emotional. It's fantastic. And then they make another movie and they try to deliver another. And it's like, well, this is okay, but it wasn't. And the perfect example of that is Rocky Balboa and Creed. Rocky Balboa, as much as Sylvester Stallone, he delivered a stellar performance in Creed. He was nominated for a Golden Globe and he won. He was nominated for an Oscar and he didn't win, but he was great. But Rocky Balboa, the ending of Rocky Balboa sees Rocky having not won the fight, right? It was all about just going the distance and proving at his age, he's still got something in the basement, like he says to Paulie. And the very last scene is him at the gravestone of Adrian. And he's looking at Adrian's gravestone and he says, "Yo, Adrian, we did it." And the reason why that's so powerful is because exactly what Sylvester Stallone said with the first Rocky movie. Now, maybe it became a cartoon by Rocky IV and all that. I love Rocky IV. Who doesn't? But at the end of the day, that first Rocky movie, in Sylvester Stallone's words, it was not about boxing. It was not about boxing. Boxing was just, the catalyst that was used to tell the story. It could have been about, it would probably had to have been about some sort of physical sport, but it could have been about football. It could have been about baseball, hockey, a number of things. It was about a guy from the streets who was a little light on the, he was a, street smart, not necessarily book smart, right? I'll just say that. And he was from the streets. He was a nice man. He was a fighter. He was poor, and he met this lovely little, sweetheart of a girl named Adrian who had a pet store, who worked at the pet store. It was about them. It was about them, and whether he could prove to her that he's worth. Because he knew that she was out of his league, right? He knew that, and he wanted to prove to himself and prove to her that he could go the distance, and he's a fighter, and that all this. That's what it was about. And there's other things in there too, but that's what it was about: going the distance. He didn't win. Rocky didn't win that fight. He lost to Apollo Creed, but it didn't matter. Because a bum from the streets went the distance and Adrian was right there. It was always about him and Adrian. Always. That's the nucleus. That's the foundation. That's what it was built on. It was a love story with boxing at the center. And that last scene with Rocky Balboa, with Rocky in Rocky Balboa, the last moment at her grave, Adrian, we did it. Yo, Adrian, we did it. And then what happens? He lays the rose on the gravestone, I think, and he turns around, he walks away, and he fades away. He kind of just like the whole scene kind of turns to like this white kind of glow, and that's the end. And you could take that to mean that maybe Rocky eventually passed away and now they're together. Whatever the case is, it was a beautiful ending. Yeah, in the middle, you've got, come on, Balboa, come on. You know, you got Clubber Lang and you got, I must break you. You know, yeah, you got the cartoony sort of shit going on in there, right? And they're awesome and they're great. But on either end, on either bookend, you've got Rocky Balboa, you've got Rocky and Rocky Balboa, which are similar themes, you know, and it was so beautiful. And then Creed comes along. Hey, I like Creed, and Sylvester Stallone was fantastic in Creed. But then you have that ending where he's going to visit his son, right? And it's like, or was that Creed 2? Was that Creed 2? No, that was Creed 2. Excuse me. That was Creed 2. Excuse me. Not Creed. That was Creed 2. The end of Creed, he had cancer and they were on the steps of the Rocky thing. But then at the end of Creed 2, he goes home to his son. And it was the same actor from Rocky Balboa. So that's nice for connective canonical tissue. But it didn't have the same weight. Like, yes, I know he was estranged from his son and it's his son. And I get that. And it didn't have the same weight for me. It didn't have the same weight and power because Rocky Balboa just brought it full circle to what it was always about. Him and Adrian. And you know, at the end of Creed 2, I'm like, it's a second best ending. It's second best, but you didn't need it. You didn't need Rocky. I understand why he was in there, but you didn't need him in there at all. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. But so in regards to Scream and any horror movie or any movie, like I look at the end of Scream 6 and I think here you have, I mean, I'm not saying it's this incredible ending. I'm just saying that in the confines of a horror film, you have Scream 6 and here you are with like, you know, she's looking at the mask. The mask is almost like looking back at her. She's got a choice and you know, Tara's like, hey, Sam, come on. And she looks over and she makes that choice. She drops it and she walks away. That's it. It's over. It's over. You don't need to continue. I understand why you're continuing because they're fucking huge financial box office successes. I get it. But from a story perspective, it's over. Like, come on. Like, it's over. That's just end it there. And we see them walk off and the credits roll and we imagine that Sam and Tara lived happily ever after and it's great. It's over. You know? And so anyways, I don't like it when any movie, but particular horror movies have that nice button ending. Oh, okay, leave it there. Leave it there. And I can tell you Billy's like that. It's Me, Billy Chapter 2. We specifically wrote it in a way where, no, it's finite. There is no Billy Chapter 3. I mean, listen, if somebody else out there wants to go off and make Billy Chapter 3, knock yourself out. But we're not doing it, and we're putting a button on this thing because it's important, you know, and there's a lot of weight behind what we're doing. And so, but then again, we're also not, you know, making any money off of it. So if we released Billy Chapter 2 and it made $100 million at the box office, they'd be going, come on, Bruce and Dave, Billy Chapter 3, 4, 5. I don't know. James Bettany says, hi Dave, best of luck going into production. Thanks, man. Really appreciate that. I know you don't tend to speak of this work all too much, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on Romero, specifically the Dead trilogy. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not a huge zombie guy, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the genre for what it is. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen Night of the Living Dead. I've seen Dawn of the Dead. I think I've seen bits and pieces of Day of the Dead. And then I know there's like some other deads in there. And then there's Land of the Dead. I remember that actually, because that shot in Toronto. And I remember I was at a voiceover session in Toronto when they were shooting that. And I was watching them shoot it, which was really cool. That was 2000. That came out in 2005. So yeah, this is probably like 2004. George A. Romero is actually buried here in Toronto because his wife is here, I believe. So I like beyond that, I don't really have any thoughts. I do like Dawn of the Dead, the original from 1978. And I did like the remake from 2004. Look, I mean, George A. Romero is one of the godfathers of modern horror. And I say modern, you know, it's that separation between the Universal monsters and sort of the late 60s, early 70s. He is one of those pioneers, you know, and I mean, Night of the Living, what was the budget? Oh, though then again, there's inflation. I was going to say, we're probably spending more on our film than he spent on his. But yeah, so I recognize the cultural significance of his impact, and I appreciate him as a filmmaker and what he did. The zombie genre as a whole, not really my thing, but I certainly can watch a good zombie movie and appreciate it and have fun, be like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? But overall, I'm not running out to, watch the next zombie film, right? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say on that. But I mean, he's a legend, right? And he was one of those early pioneers for sure. 100%. All right. Have I missed? I haven't missed any super chats, right? I'm assuming people would let me know if I have, but I don't think I have. No, we're still sitting at that. Okay, just want to make sure. Oh, we got 2 new members. Damn, I know I shouted out the one of them. I missed the other one. Oh, that's all right. It happens. You guys still getting used to the clocks going back? I don't mind when the clocks go back in the fall, obviously, because you gain an hour of time. The spring, it's a pain in the ass. I think we should just do away with it. Like, I really don't care. I mean, we all know the reason why initially, years and years ago with the farming and all that kind of stuff, why it was implemented. But this daylight savings nonsense is garbage because not everybody around the world recognizes it. And I just think it's ass. And what's so silly about it now is that I don't know if if you're old enough to remember. I remember when daylight savings, when we would put the clocks back in October. We would put the clocks back in October and then put them ahead in like April. Well, now we're putting them back in November and putting them ahead in like March or something. Well, what's next? We're going to put them back in December and ahead in February. I mean, just get rid of it. Who fucking cares? Yeah, but Dave, you have to understand that, daylight and people need more light. Nobody cares. Let's just live in darkness for a few months. Like I don't care. And maybe it's just me because I like the dark. I am the dark. I don't know. I just think we should do away with it. Like, I know just get rid of it. When the clocks go ahead in the spring, just leave them there. Just leave it there. I'm over it now. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. But, yeah. Kenny525 says, I hate that it's dark at 5. Yeah, well, I mean, it would be, even if we didn't put the clocks back, it would still be darker earlier in the evening just because of it depends on where you are in the world, of course. But, where we are here, it would still be darker, because of the winter and the fall and, the sun and the equinox and the how it aligns and, all that kind of shit. Right. So, are we really gaining anything? Like really, in my opinion, not really, like I said, it going back in the fall, pretty good because you do get that extra, and the spring is just a pain in the ass. Brandon Collins sends in $2. Thank you, Brandon. Says that extra hour of sleep is worth being dark at 4. I don't mind it being dark at 4. I really don't, but I'm just so over it now. Daniel Hyrell sends in $9.99. Thank you, Daniel, and says, Dave, I just watched the Strange DMs video. People are so whacked, bro. Oh, they are. Oh yeah, no, they are. I've received my fair share of weird DMs, and I shared one the other day on my Facebook about some fucking troll. It's just these guys. It's just so funny. Okay, all right, yeah. Ooh, I'm scared. Quiver. Ooh. Also, sorry to hear about Olivia. Thank you. Yes, but I didn't donate for her. I donated for you. Happy to still support. God bless, bro. Well, thanks, Daniel. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, there's been so many people that have come out and expressed that and said that and said, listen, it sucks. We feel your pain, bro. But at the end of the day, we're here for you. We supported you. We want to see this thing through. And that means a lot because Bruce and I were scared. We were scared. We were like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? So for, again, everybody out there, thank you so much for your love and support and your kind words, especially through this difficult process of having to recast. I hope that you saw the posting today about the casting of Lisa Kovak and that it excites you just as much as it excites us. And I promise you that we're going to deliver. I can't promise that you're going to like it, obviously, but I can definitely promise you that we're going to deliver a professional product through and through from top to bottom. And that I can promise you. But whether you're liking what we're selling, I mean, that's art, right? I mean, I can't promise that, but, Oliver Mercer says, yeah, the clock situation is stupid. Oh, it's just so frustrating. Indeed, 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 indeed. Colin Murdy says, our clocks still go back in October, the weekend before Halloween each year. Yeah, ours just went back the weekend after Halloween. So I think it was a week difference. And I think they have to do that because they can't have too many of the developed worlds, like the Western developed country. We can't have too many people because of business. You can't spread it out too far, because everybody's going to be all over the place in terms of when they can call people and email people. But again, there's a lot of things that I, as a kid, that now as an adult, I'm like winter, and I know I'm here in Canada, but, and so it's like, well, Dave, it's because you're in Canada. That's why you hate winter. It's like, no. I mean, as I've said many times, for those of you that have never been to Canada, here in Southern Ontario, we get the same kind of winters you get in the Midwest or the Northeast of, the U.S. Now, where it gets really cold in Canada would be the prairies, like your Edmonton, your Calgary, your Winnipeg. Okay, that's that's the stereotypical Canadian winter. Here in Southern Ontario, where I am, we get winter, and it's definitely a Canadian winter, but it's just I mean, we're only an hour from Buffalo, folks. Okay, I'm only an hour from the border. You know what I mean? So, it's all the same, but when I was a kid, I mean, I loved the winter because it was hockey season and I played hockey and, I could go to the outdoor rinks and play hockey with my friends, but I was on a hockey team as well. So that was exciting. And, you're a teenager, so, or a kid. So, you're not driving anywhere. You get driven everywhere. So you got your own your own personal chauffeur, and it's your dad or your mom. And, but as an adult, I'm like, yeah, okay. So in my mind, fuck winter. Winter can be like snow, okay? I like snow for Christmas and the holidays. So maybe the week before Christmas and maybe right up until the end of New Year's. So those 2 or 3 weeks in that pocket, I'm good. You know what I mean? I like that. For the holidays, festive season, yeah, winter, snow, la, 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 love it. But by January 5th, get out. Out! Can't stand it. Get out. You know what I mean? It's so funny because, as an adult, it's I had to drive in that and all that nonsense and shit. And then, the clock's going back thing, when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, X hours sleep. Dude, it says 2:00, but you know what? It's actually 1:00, an extra hour. You're at a sleepover or something and you want to, you know what I mean? But now it's just fuck, I just fuck. There's other things too, I'm sure I can think of, but it's just kind of funny. So funny. Daniel Hyrell sends in, oh no, I already got that one. I'm all over the place. That's the last one that I did. Okay, we'll go another 10 minutes. We'll take this thing right to 8:00, and then we'll call it. Guitarist Dog 87 says, Dave, I'm positive you will deliver a quality fan-made sequel to It's Me, Billy. I love Dylan's New Nightmare. Can you give us a Will You Look Tired Freddy impression from Elm Street 3? Will You Look Tired? Oh yeah. What how does he do it? He's like, I don't know how to, he's like, you look tired. It's something like that, right? Something like that, like, oh yeah. What does he say? Does he say, hey, Will? Like, hey, Will, you look tired. It's something like that. He's like, you look tired. He's in there somewhere. You look tired. Now, keep in mind, they're pitching Robert lower. With me and Dylan's New Nightmare, we did pitch me a smidgy bit lower, but basically what you hear in Dylan's New Nightmare is is me. I can tell you right now, they pitched Robert a lot lower than I was pitched lower. And I don't say that as some sort of like, look at me. No, I just mean that in terms of just the way it is. So yeah, it was, you look tired. It was something like that. Like, it's a boy. So funny. Another text. Okay, how many emails do I have now that I got to look at? 8. Oh yeah, it's getting crazy. I got, okay. And then, yeah, I got emails from SAG and my agent's in there too. What is this? Let's bring this up. Good evening, Dave. This is from my agent. Session 9:30 a.m. Friday. They've mentioned client looking deeper, mysterious voice. Here you go. Discussed with you. Yes, that is correct. Attached recording lines. This looks like a fairly long session. This is for the new animated show I'm doing called Lana Longbeard, which is a great show. It again, I'll have to ask. I don't like, we're in the middle of recording it right now, right? So they still have to animate and all that. So I don't know who's got it in the States. I'll let you guys know. I know it's CBC here, and I know Warner Brothers Discovery will distribute it, I think, in Europe. But I don't know where it'll end up in the States. But just a new show that I'm doing. But does that time work for you? Oh, they want me to go into studio. Oh. I usually record this from home. I wonder if they want me. You know what? I wonder if they're going to have the other cast there, which would be great. Because I don't know if you know this, folks, but in animation, it's not unprecedented for us animation voiceover actors to record separately, right? We're not actually in the same room. We're not recording opposite each other. I mean, sometimes it does happen for sure, but it's not unprecedented that you will go into, a booth, a studio, whether it's at your home studio or a studio in LA, New York, Toronto, wherever, and you're in there and you're taking direction from the casting director, but you're reading the lines and you're performing, but you're not playing opposite the other actor, right? That's not unprecedented. That happens a lot. But I usually record the Lana stuff from home, but they're asking me to come into the studio this time. So, maybe that means there's going to be the other actors there, which would be awesome, because anytime you get to play off of each other in real time, it helps the performance so much. Anyway. All right. Well, I'll get back to her after I get off here. Okay. Hang on. One last super chat check. No, I don't think I've missed anything. I don't think so. Okay. Cheston Franklin Jr. says, Dave, are you still going to be on the channel despite in 2 weeks going to be shooting for It's Me Billy 2? Once again, my man, congrats on having Lisa on board. Thank you, Chester. It might be a little bit sparse. The week that I'm shooting the movie, I will not be live on the channel. No. Maybe. Maybe there will be. No. I can't say that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to promise anything. When we shot It's Me Billy Chapter 1, there was no time for that. So there likely will be no time for that. So when I'm shooting a movie, I'm shooting a movie. And now that doesn't mean that there will not be social media updates and really cool things that you might see. No spoilers, of course, but I just mean, we did that on the first shoot as well. So stay glued to your socials for updates. But in terms of like doing a show like this or going on live and be like, hey guys, so let's chat about how, no. There's not going to be any time for that. No time for that. And that's not this week. It's not next week. It's the week after. It's the week after. All right. I think, well, that's a good question. Kenny says, Dave, what are you most excited about with It's Me Billy Chapter 2? I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's a couple things. I think finally getting started. It's been a year of work, from development to production has been a year. Because remember, when I made the announcement that we were moving into development, it was in September of 2022. So it's been over a year of the development stage. Development was, a long time. We had to write the script, and it was huge. And then we moved into the pre-production phase. There was the funding phase, which is part of the development phase. Look at all those live streams I did and all that kind of stuff. So, it's been a year of work, and I think I'm excited to get going. The cast is excited to get going. And so there's definitely that. And just working with everybody again, working with Victoria again. You guys are going to love her in this chapter. And just, just working with everybody, and some new people too. Like there's some old people that are returned. I don't mean old as an age. I mean, there's some, some people from chapter 1 that are returning from the crew, and there's new faces as well. So there's an opportunity for me to work with new people within the industry, which is great. You know what I mean? And so I can make more connections and meet more people on the filmmaking side, which is a lot of fun. So I think it's just overall, I'm excited to get going. You know what I mean? I'm excited to get going. All right. Couple more minutes. Fear the Phantom says, Dave, what is your favorite overall movie theater experience? Try to keep it PG. I see. I'm going to say that one of my favorite movie theater experiences was going to see The Conjuring with my girlfriend, because she treated me, and she's not a big horror person, and she had never seen a horror movie in the theater before, I don't think. And so it was a real experience for her. It was a packed house, and it's a good movie. As far as mainstream studio horror movies go, it's pretty good. So that was a lot of fun, and she really enjoyed that experience. That's an experience I'll never forget. That was really good. Lance Noonan says, I saw a video of behind the scenes in December 2020 shooting the film. It looked so fun. Was it hard to film, Dave? On my channel, you mean? Is that, yeah, we have a bunch of behind the scenes stuff on the channel. Was it hard to film? It was an experience. It was my very first time. Billy Chapter 1 was my first time being on a professional set. And we were the writers, the directors, and the producers. So it was our set. I mean, we're in charge, right? We're the managers, so to speak. And so it was a wonderful experience. I learned a lot working with people that were far more experienced in their positions than I was in mine. And it was just a really, really, really cool thing. Now I'm going back again. I'm more experienced now than I was 3 years ago. And I'm looking forward to getting back onto the set and, doing our best to deliver chapter 2. And, but yeah, no, it was fun. It absolutely was fun, but a lot of hard work because, you're on a schedule and time is money. And, you have to, we want to have fun, but we got to work hard, right? We have to keep on schedule. And but it was a great experience. I will say that. A great experience with great people. And I have no doubt that this will be the same. All right, folks, listen, that is going to do it for me here on this episode of McRae Live. Thank you to everybody out there for coming and hanging out. Again, for those of you that maybe are watching after the fact, you're like, the subject is taking a break. And I kind of talked a bit about what's been going on over the last few days. But to be fair, you asked good questions. And like I said earlier in the show, it was a little therapeutic for me, I think, too, to come on here and kind of just, talk about it a bit more. And hopefully if there's anybody out there that is confused or whatever, there's a whole live show that we did the other day on it, myself and Bruce. And hopefully if you've watched this whole thing or if you've made it this far, I've been able to give you some insight into what happened over the last few days. It's unfortunate. It's not what we wanted, but we're going to truck forward and we're going to deliver something that you guys can be proud of and that we can be proud of and everybody can be proud of. So again, really appreciate your support. It means a lot. It means a lot. And I had fun. It was fun to come on here and just, like I said, usually on my McRae Lives, I'll talk for like 40 minutes on a topic and then go to the Q&A. So it was nice to just jump right into it on this particular episode. Thank you to all the super chat questions that came out there, that came in. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you, of course, to my great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Shore, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, Cody Snyder, and Andrew Stevens. Thank you for doing what you guys do. Thank you to my channel members as well. Hey, reminder, if you want to become a member here on the channel, the link is in the description. Or if you want to support the It's Me Billy Chapter 2 campaign, that link is in the description as well. You want a poster, you want a hoodie, you want a t-shirt, you want a Blu-ray, you want to become an associate producer, it's all down there. There's only one associate producer left. Yeah, and I will be back. Tony and I are looking to hopefully try and slip in a Two Dudes and Some Bullshit on Wednesday night, because it will likely be the last one I'll be able to do until the movie's over. So can't promise anything yet, but you guys will know when you see it pop up in your notifications. But we're going to try and do something Wednesday night as well to get something in. But anyways, folks, have a great rest of your Tuesday. Have a great rest of, no, is it Tuesday today? No, it's Monday. It's not, fuck, it's Monday. Have a great rest of your Monday. And I will talk to you all soon. All right. Oh, hey, you know what? I just noticed on this show, I didn't have my, I didn't have that up. I did the whole show without the bar at the bottom. Oh, well, not a big deal. Hey, it's there now. Have a great rest of your evening, folks. We'll talk to you soon. All righty. Cheers.